I'm back! Hi guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in today. It is my second episode of my little solo series. If you're new here, my name is Ashley and I am the mom of our family channel, Slice of Serrano. Now, this channel, specifically what I'm doing, you'll just get a more in-depth view of our family, what a day in the life is like, me being a stay-at-home mom, any challenges, just things that are happening with us. Now today, I am excited because I will be touching on a subject that has really become very prevalent in our lives and others' lives that I've noticed, and that's the topic of homeschooling. Now, I'll be going a little bit through just like our educational journey as far as coming from public school system to then homeschool, how that's been for me as a stay-at-home mom, how we got introduced to homeschooling, and then also a bit of the challenges that came across our family reactions as well, like what was that like, but also the benefits and the beauty of homeschooling and the things that we have come to understand and see through our children, through their progress and everything that they've been able to accomplish through homeschooling. So let's get right to it. Okay, so some background about me and my husband. We've been married 11 years. We have 4 children, 9, 6, 3, and then 1-year-old. The 3 and the 1-year-old, they're soon to be 4 and 2. So wish us luck because I know it's going to be quite a journey with that, especially with them 2 still being at home with me. It's up to me to keep them in line and from destroying the house most days. That can be a challenge. So as far as the educational background, me and Omar do come from public school system, so we never really thought much of homeschooling or private school. We just kind of thought, okay, our kids go to public school, didn't think a second thought about it. But once we started having kids, then our circle groups, whether just outside of our family and within our church, we've been hearing a lot of, oh, homeschooling, our children go to private school, we do homeschooling. And so that intrigued us to the idea of what that could look like for our family. I think I mentioned in the very first episode when COVID hit, I was able to be a stay-at-home mom, which was our goal from the very beginning of our marriage, was to try and make it to that point. Didn't know everything that involved really until you're like really in the thick of it, but now I understand. So me being stay-at-home mom, and then when our oldest became of school age, that's when she went to public school, VPK program. My sister was actually the music teacher at that school, so it kind of eased my way into her going to school because I felt comfortable with my sister being there. She can look out for her and, notify me if anything were to happen. Then COVID hit, bam, transitioned right into the homeschooling Zoom scene, which is very new to me at that point. She had her same teacher. It was just a different format of teaching. So instead of being in school, which is what we expected halfway through the year, she then had to go online. So that was a new experience for her and for me as well. Her assignments would be sent through the mail. Her teacher would mail us her assignments. They would meet every day for class to participate with her other students. But again, this was really weird interactions, especially for a kid trying to start their experience with school in general and getting involved with other kids. This was all very new to our daughter, and then having to be at home, that was very different, and I wasn't prepared for it at that time. She did go back to school for kindergarten, and then just the first month of first grade, because at that point we were dealing a lot with mask mandates at the public schools. I don't know where you stand on that subject topic. Be sensitive for some people, I guess, but for us, we were not for masks at all. So we were really adamant, especially when my daughter started coming home saying that she was struggling, trying to breathe, going to PE, running around in school, having to wear a mask. That doesn't mix well with children. They need to be free to explore without having to be restricted to masks. And our kids do suffer from slight asthma, so that didn't help as well. But we noticed that once first grade started, masks were optional, but we just figured, hey, let's cut the cord now. This is our good way to get out and explore a new avenue for education. God opened a door. We got introduced to a classical school system, and it was a co-op program. So we would meet once a week. Parents were very involved. I was there every week, just with all the other students. She got to interact with all the other kids. Masks weren't a thing, so that also helped with the situation. That just got our foot in the door up to what homeschooling would really look like for our family. And then we did that for about 2 years until, then my second child, by the time he was 4, he did go to VPK as well. And then now both of my school-age children are in a private Christian school. So that is the route we have taken. So I did homeschool for about 3 years, which I loved. I did struggle in the beginning though. It was quite the eye-opener. This is where it comes, where we talk about the challenges. The challenges mostly came within myself. I was really doubting myself, doubting that I could do this. I would see other moms, especially on social media now, which is prevalent. You know, we're all on social media, and I would see them doing their perfect homeschooling, their children listening, them just doing 1 hour of school and then playing outside, going to all these playgrounds and parks and museums. And how could I do that? And especially then at this point, now I have 4 children, I still freak out. And even so back then, I was so new, still trying to navigate motherhood, being a stay-at-home mom, and now also adding homeschooling to it. I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to try and simulate what they do in the schools. 6 hours a day in a classroom, trying to replicate that in my own home. That put a lot of pressure on me to try and make sure that my child is learning what they're supposed to learn, doing what they're supposed to be doing, making sure they're prepared for the world, prepared for any testing that might come up. I was scared someone would come knocking on our door being like, hey, does your kid know this? And me being like, oh no, I never studied that with them. So that was really hard for me. It was more internal struggle with myself. And it took a lot of guidance from other moms encouraging me and helping me through that. And also God that gave me the strength and the patience, because you need patience with homeschooling. It's so funny now thinking about parents who all they know is public school. And when COVID happened, their children were just at home. And all these parents are freaking out. How am I going to get to work? How am I going to do this? How am I going to be with my child at home? You learn quickly that what your child needs is you. You're their main source of comfort, of knowledge. You're the one who can provide all that for them. And by the grace of God, I was able to do that. He gave me the strength and he gave me the perseverance to make it through. When it came to family reactions, when we first introduced the idea of homeschooling, it's a new concept. New concept for our side of the family, because as far as me and Omar are concerned, we're the only ones who took our kids out of school and brought them to homeschooling. None of our other family members have done that, and that is something new, and a lot of them didn't take it very well. It's kind of comedic now when you think of it, because I wasn't doing anything wrong, but that kind of fueled the fire. As far as the fear that came about, it really took a toll on me, their reactions, thinking that, hey, taking your child out of school, how are they going to learn with other kids? How are they going to socialize? So homeschool kids are weird. These are all things that we have heard of, that they talk about when you hear about a homeschool child. Like, they're not like other kids. But that's the point. They're not like other kids. These kids are actually learning at a much faster rate. They're getting in-depth life lessons and going outside and exploring the world that God has created for them. Like, that is our main mission. So I had to focus on that, step away from the family reactions of negativity and bring it around and realize, what is my purpose? And my purpose is to bring up these children in the image of God and to show them that this beautiful world that we live in, there's so much to explore. And the best way that now I know how to do that is through homeschooling. They don't need to be stuck to a desk or stuck to a classroom for 6 hours a day. They need to be outside, getting dirty, exploring. It's hard for me to say getting dirty, because when my kids get dirty, it's a little like, more cleaning. But no, when you get right into it, that is what really worked for our family. So that's where we came from as far as homeschooling. And now when I think of all the benefits, I really think about how well my children have done. Now going from homeschooling and now that they're in private school, we see that everything that I was able to do with them, again, by the grace of God and by the determination of me to prove my family, or prove to them that I can do it, prove to them that I'm not going to slack on my children, that me and my husband want what's best for them. And this was the appropriate path that we were to take. And when my children went into these private school testings, as far as to make sure that they're on grade level, my kids surpassed what we could have ever expected. My daughter, who was in 3rd grade at the time, was reading at a 6th grade level. My son, who was in VPK testing for kindergarten, he was actually at like the middle of, I believe it was like 1st grade level. So my children were testing high, and that gave me so much relief. But really, I was very proud of them and proud of myself for what I was able to accomplish. You don't think you can do it, but you can. And I know I'm not alone in this. First going from stay-at-home mom, then to homeschooling. Like, these are very big changes in families. And I just want you to know that you're not alone in it. There are people who support. There's so many homeschool families right now that you're just not by yourself. There's so many resources out there that can help you with this. And that helped me. And I know that you can do it. If I could do it and change my view of myself, the inadequacy that I felt in the beginning, now I feel like, hey, maybe this is possible. This I can accomplish, and I can do it for the betterment of my children. Is that a word? Betterment? but for them to be better, make me a better parent, make me a better teacher, because I'm learning right there with them. So I feel like, homeschooling was what worked for our family. Right now we're doing private school, and that works for us right now in this season. That kind of ties into, hey, what's gonna happen in Utah? If you saw our first video, I mentioned the big news of us moving to Utah. The good thing about Utah is they have so many different options and avenues you can go as far as education. You can do private school, public school, homeschooling, charter school. They offer it all, and they offer scholarships for it all. So we are not lacking. We are so blessed to have all these opportunities presented to us. Even with moving, we don't know yet where we're gonna be, where we're gonna live specifically. We have an idea for a church. The church does have a school with it, so we're excited about that. It's not a for sure thing, but it is an option, a possibility. And tying that into homeschooling, as far as when we move, we're not sure exactly what we're gonna be doing. So I think I'm gonna end up going back to homeschooling at least for 1 year. So please pray for me with that, because I will have 4 children at home. And like I said, I will have a 2-year-old at that point and a 4-year-old, and they're already bouncing off the walls. So to mix that in with my other 2 children, that will be a new challenge for me. By the grace of God, I'm gonna get through it. Thank you so much for bearing with me through my long talk. I hope that you were able to get some good info here. I know it was a lot of my backstory, and I hope that if you got anything out of this video, please hit that like button. Also hit that subscribe button so that you get any updates that we might have from our family. I'm gonna try and do weekly updates for you, new topics. If you have any suggestions, please comment below what you would maybe like me to talk about, or if you have any questions. If you have any advice for me based on homeschooling or moving out of state and then homeschooling, that whole transition, please comment. I would love to hear from you just to get more advice on that. I love hearing and seeing other people's podcasts and all this advice that I get. That helps me out a lot. And please don't forget to hit that notification button. You'll be notified every time we upload a new video. I did want to leave you with a Bible verse that hit home with this topic of homeschooling. It comes from Ephesians 1 verses 18 and 19. I pray that the eyes of your heart may be enlightened, so that you will know what is the hope of his calling, what are the riches of the glory of his inheritance in the saints, and what is the boundless greatness of his power towards us who believe. These are in accordance with the working of the strength of his might. Now, what I got from this is Paul's prayer for us is that all believers can understand and live out God's hope for themselves and know who they are and what purpose they have in this life. And that's what I got from it. You have a purpose in this life. And us, especially moms out there and dads too, whether you're homeschooling, public school, as a parent, you want what's best for your children. And with this scripture, I felt empowered that with the strength that God provides me and the hope that I have in him, he's able to get me through. And I know that my purpose is to love and enjoy him forever and to raise up disciples for himself in my children and guide them in the ways of the Lord. So I'll leave that with you guys, and thank you again for watching. Have a blessed day. Bye.